Thank you guys again for the support. This is just going to be clips of the body cam of the things he said. But the parts that were left out were, I'm trying to break it down real quick. The incident happened where he went up to my girl's work. 20 minutes later, she calls me. I think on it. About 30 minutes later, I go up to the station. I ask to speak to the gentleman, which you'll see in this clip that's added to it. She said he was on a call. I wait. I go out and I smoke a cigarette. That's where the other video of me sitting out explaining everything was me going back outside smoking a cigarette. And then he showed up and I knew that I couldn't let him get into that station. Excuse me. Because if he got into that station, his story's going to change and he's not going to really tell his actions and why he did what he did. So I talked to the chief. After all the whole incident happened, you see on the body cam, I went in, I filed a complaint, and they didn't ID me. The woman didn't ID me. The officer stood over me, and the other officer had talked to me outside the station. The chief told me that these are the policies or practices that he broke. They're supposed to ID you every time you come in to speak to an officer. They have to run you for warrants every time you want to come in to speak to an officer. Blew my mind. He said, no, not when you get a complaint. We don't run you for warrants. We just run you for warrants if you come to speak to an officer. Damn, it makes no sense. All right, whatever. So he wanted to speak to my girl about the incident. I was like, yeah, I'll tell her when she gets off work to go up to the police station and talk to you. So she goes up there to talk to her. Talk to him. She asked to speak to the chief. She waited a second. She got on the phone. Called the chief. The chief comes out about a minute. She goes back in there and she leaves. She leaves. I asked my girl, I said, did they ID you? She said, no. I said, you told her your name? She said, I told her my first name. I said, well, did she hop on the computer? Mm-mm. She was just standing up the whole time. So I asked the chief, hey, did they run her for warrants? He said, I don't think they did. Mind you, my girl's Mexican, but she looks white. So again, left up to interpretation. So I have another video I'm going to upload to show what another dispatcher said their practices are. And I also got pulled over for no reason, which is another video, the same day I talked to the chief about them, him telling me that they broke practices. And you'll see I'm so cooperative with them, and it kind of infuriates them when they see that they don't get a rouse out of me, and I abide by all the laws, and I document every single time they just try to pull somebody over for a lie. So look for that. But this is the practices and things that they do. I'm going in here to ask politely about why this gentleman approached my girl knowing her name. I don't know my name. How you doing? There's an older gentleman working today that's driving one of the Explorers, and he asked a few questions to my girlfriend, and I wanted to ask him a few questions.
Okay, did you catch his name?
No. I only saw him in the store when I left. My girl called me and said he asked her some questions about me, and I have no idea who he is.
Where was that?
Right here at 7-Eleven.
Okay. He's on a call right now, but tomorrow I will see the house come over here.
Okay.
What was your name?
Dexter?
Okay.
Just so you understand the reason why the video is the way it is, it's not about really the video as it is about the audio. So yes, this small town, if people see you recording them when they've done wrong, more than likely they'll disengage with the conversation, or they're going to say just the smallest minute amount of stuff that will equal to them not really admitting they're wrong. So Sorry guys for the way the video is, but there's also the body cam now. So here's a quick backstory to this real quick. I went up to the store, got some 5 hours, and I was talking to my girl at the register about my brother getting a hotel when he comes down on the 11th or the 14th, and that they were going to figure out between how they were going to use the car, what they were going to do for the 2 days, me taking Joseph out of school for a day or two, taking the boys out of school for a day or two. So we were going to have to figure it out because he had to come up with a better plan. And that's when the cop was standing at the register. So he heard me talking about the hotel and taking the kids out of school. So I was walking out and I was like, well, we got to figure it out somehow. I get my truck, and before I left, when I drove up to 7-Eleven, I saw that my back left tire looked a little low. So I said, I'll check it when I get ready to leave. So I get in my truck, I pull over there on the side of the building, and he's parked beside I don't know what his name is, but he's parked beside my car. And I stop, I roll the window down, I look at the tire, and I turn around and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to go tell her she needs to put some air in it. Eventually it needs some air. So I go in, tell her, I see the cop rolling slow behind me. So I tell her, and then I walk out. I get in my car to leave. I see he's parked around the back of the building. So I pay no attention to it. I leave. I get home. 20 minutes later, she calls me, tells me that this cop went in and said, Is everything all right between you and Dexter? First of all, I don't know who this guy is. I haven't as much got a speeding ticket, a parking ticket, nothing. I've never been in contact with any law enforcement in years. So I don't understand how he would know my name, one. Number two, why would you think that there's a problem with us if you heard our conversation and there was no yelling, no cussing? We're talking about what we're going to do for my brother's vacation down here. So where do you come in saying, after I left, is everything okay between you and Dexter? Come on, man. How in the fuck do you know my name first? I need to know how you know my name. And then you tell her that you saw me over by her vehicle. And she tells you that's his vehicle. Oh, well, how do you know it's her vehicle? Huh? I'm trying to figure out how you knew all this shit. And I don't even know who the fuck you are. But we're going to find out.
I'm interested in even stopping you. But what I was interested in is making sure that the store does not have a problem. There's a whole history on that store that's been going on the last few months. I'm just making sure there's no continued... I don't know who you are, okay? I don't know that you're her boyfriend or you're her... whatever you wanted, whatever relationship. But what I am interested in is making sure that we cut down on the problems in that store. If you want to talk to the manager, Maria, maybe she'll give you a little background on what's going on. You have no idea what you stepped into. I don't know who you are.
Did you run anybody else's plate up there?
Nope.
No, because I look suspicious to you. You want to run and see who I am.
Yep.
For no reason.
I always do that.
For no reason.
I will always do
If
that.
you did,
And I have a...
But what I want to know is you said it looked like a domestic problem. Why? Nobody raised their voice. Nobody cussed. Nobody said anything to make you think it was a problem.
Do I know you cussed?
So what you
I already
did,
told you I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, you didn't hear what I said, right? So how do you think it's a domestic problem without hearing anything?
Because you're speaking.
I'm suspicious to you, right?
All right. Number one, yes.
Thank you.
Number two, you're speaking with an
you.
employee that has nothing to do with
And
purchasing
it has nothing
anything.
to do with you.
All right, that's fine. Listen, I'm doing my job, okay?
Go ahead.
So I didn't hear a conversation, okay? You're in there. We've had a lot of problems in that store. You're in there talking to an employee, which has nothing to do with buying something, anything like that. To me, that looks like maybe there's some kind of domestic issue going on.
How would you know it's domestic?
Listen, it's my job. So I have to investigate what's going on. Went back in and talked to her. She's like, ask my boyfriend. I'm like, okay, we're good.
But you thought it was domestic before you asked.
Yeah,
you
of course.
said you thought it was domestic. That
Of course.
means you knew we were together.
No, it didn't. It means you weren't in there buying stuff.
How would you know that, though? your assumption, right? Which made you wrong.
No.
One. Number two, when I walked out, I said,
So
I
what is
guess
it you're looking,
you
any
said
way
you
of
had
doing my
no
job that I've been doing?
interest in stopping me,
That's right.
So what was your interest in running my plates?
Because I wanted to see, this is truth, I wanted to see who you were because I didn't know what was going on in there. I also wanted to check if you had any warrants. If you had warrants, you would have been stopped and arrested. We do that all the time. That's normal. You were
Nothing
suspicious.
about
Suspicious.
I'm a suspicious. That's what I'm getting at.
I didn't say
There was
you were
nothing about-
suspicious.
there was
I said the
nothing about me
conversation did
standing
not
there.
seem right.
Nothing. What was not right about? Please. So
I told you.
I will. I will.
I don't
I
need to
will
repeat it.
apologize to you if you give me the one thing that stuck out to you that wasn't right about me.
I already told you. When I walked in the store,
You walk in the store. Because you're not talking about anything.
let's take you out of it for a minute.
Okay.
There was somebody standing there at the counter speaking with an employee. No big deal, right? That happens all the time. I didn't come in and listen to your conversation. I didn't really even care. But I was keeping an eye on it. I know we've had issues there. I went over, got a drink, which is the reason I was there in the first
You were
place.
there to get a drink.
That's right. The conversation kept going and going and going, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on because I didn't hear. I'm not listening. I don't know if
didn't
it's
hear the
a
conversation.
threat or if it's just a
Mind you,
friendly.
when he walked in the store, I was the only person in the store at the time, and it took him literally a minute and 45 seconds. So while it took him 30, 40 seconds to get to the fountain drink machine, he said the conversation was going on and on and on. For what, the 30 seconds you were in the store, you came to a conclusion that conversation is going too long. He's not buying anything, and it looks like he might have a problem with her. But let me just get my soda and leave, and then we'll check him out, see if he has warrants.